Who knew that 2020 would start out this way? Our daily lives have dramatically changed, and we're all trying to navigate this new sense of normal. Now more than ever, we are constantly hearing the word no. It is extremely frustrating and has us itching at the boots to go outside. However, we often forget how challenging this is for young children. Parents are having to say no to birthday parties, no to going outside and playing with their friends, no to going to sporting events, and even no to going to see grandma and grandpa. Right now, we all need a good laugh, which is why I chose to read 17 Things I'm Not Allowed to Do Anymore for my pre-reading activity. This is a wonderful story written by a wonderful author named Jenny O'Fill, and it is illustrated by Nancy Carpenter. Here is a picture of the cover screen. I do not have the book with me because it is at the school in quarantine, but I have pulled up a picture on my iPad, and this is the cover photo. But this story is a K through 3 realistic fiction story, which means that it is made up, but it could happen in real life, even though I do not suggest that. But 17 Things I'm Not Allowed to Do Anymore is a very fun and lighthearted story about a young girl who keeps being told no. Jenny O'Fill takes us on a wild adventure of a child who does exactly the opposite of what she's been told to do. From gluing her brother's shoes to the floor to freezing flies in the ice cube tray. The little girl does not seem to be doing anything right. While this story is not intended to encourage bad behavior, students can relate to frequently being told no, especially right now. This picture book is a wonderful fiction story that dives deep into the rebellious life of a young little girl and covers a topic that is really relevant to today. The pre-reading activity that I chose to do with my students is a contrast chart. I've never done this in my class before, but actually really enjoyed it. This is what the assignment looks like, and here are the instructions right here, and then this is the contrast. So, and this looks just like the one that was in our the assignment. But so I chose this activity to help children kind of bring their frustrations and fears to the surface. I received a lot of emails over the past 2 weeks from parents crying out for help because their kids are basically stuck under house arrest. With everything going on, parents often forget to ask their children how they're feeling. This is a very difficult time, and children are scared and frustrated, and they don't know how to show it. They don't even know how to write about it. They're just kind of dealing with it. This lighthearted story kind of gives students the opportunity to laugh and relate with this young rebellious girl. While my class knows not to staple their siblings' hair to a pillow or order a different dinner from their mom, which would not be a good idea, they can share the same feelings and emotions that this little girl has by constantly being told no. The activity I chose, which is the contrast chart, for the literature assignment, gives my students the opportunity to kind of open up and about what they're feeling and what they can and can't do right now. So you'll see on the contrast chart, so right here it's like what can I do and what can I not do. And this activity gets them kind of prepared and in the right mindset to go into this story. So this activity gives my class the kind of the opportunity to see what they can do in light of this craziness going on, and also like what they cannot do. But I have never used this contrast chart in a lesson before. However, it proved to be very, very beneficial to my class and helped them build and reflect on their compare and contrast skills. This activity was assigned this past Tuesday during a WebEx meeting with a small group that I had from my class. Unfortunately, everyone did not show up, and so it turned into a small group. The students that worked on the assignment do have lower reading scores, so that kind of was beneficial. The book is meant for K through 3, but is more in between and isn't an easy read, so this really kind of was good for them. But during the meeting, I did read the book, and I sent the book in the PDF to their parents, in a PDF form to their parents, and so they were kind of able to follow along with me as I read it on the screen. And then I went over the instructions for the activity, and the instructions say kind of what I've been going over, but it says, right now we are hearing the word no a lot. No, you cannot go to your friend's house. No, we cannot go out to eat. No, you cannot go to the park. No, you cannot go to school. It is very frustrating and often overwhelming. We are tired of being told no and want things to go back to normal. In this story, we'll learn about a little girl who keeps being told no after doing what she wants. For this assignment, make a chart of what you want to do, what you can and cannot do right now. Use your imagination. So this chart really helps them kind of lay out what this story is about, but also helps them relate it to their life. Um, but this activity was very successful. During the Thursday meeting, students took turns explaining things that they can and cannot do right now. The kids were able to tell stories about how their parents have told them no, and find ways to like laugh at their situation. I had one student tell me that I think, yes, he said that he had actually ordered a different dinner from his mom. He was like, no, mom, like, I do not want this. I think it was like pizza, but he was like, no, mom, I want Chick-fil-A. And he basically ordered a new dinner like this little girl does in the story. And his mom said no, and he got very upset. And he told this story to the class, and all the kids were relating to it and talking about it. And it really helped them work through these emotions that they are going through right now. Um, but this contrast chart really allowed me to see how the students have improved with their compare and contrast skills, which is something that we were working on before the quarantine, but really allowed me to kind of see how my students were doing, as well as like getting them to talk about what they're going through. But I really believe that using this research-based pre-reading activity is extremely important, because over the last decade, research has identified the importance of using evidence-based pre-reading instruction in the classroom. Recent findings have shown that teachers following these pre-reading strategies promote early comprehension and vocabulary skills, and this is something that I did see in my the work with my students. By doing this pre-reading activity, they kind of were already able to comprehend what was going on in the story and go back and kind of relate. And after they read the story, they were able to relate to this young rebellious girl. But these research-based activities have the ability to spark interest and motivate learning for young students. These pre-reading assignments are designed and proved to help students relate and absorb information in a text. But I really did enjoy working with these students using these pre-reading activities. I think that it was extremely beneficial, especially for the small group that I used it with. The contrast chart was highly successful and helped them kind of work through their emotions and what they're going through, but also help them work through the text. So overall, it was a really, really wonderful experience.